This video is on point reflections. It comes right after line reflections in the transformations unit. It's a little bit of a different process to reflect something through a point than across a line. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So to reflect through a point, we want to count to the point and then count the same number in the opposite direction. So for everything that we're going to do, we're going to reflect through the origin, point 0, 0, which is right here. Okay. We want to complete the following point reflections. The first one is going to take point A, which is 5, 2, and reflect it through the origin. So first we have to graph A, which is at 5, 2. So the first value right here is x. We're going to go 5 on the x-axis. And the second value there is 2, so 2 on the y-axis. So our point should be right here. We're going to go ahead and count how many spaces to get to the origin here. Now you can't count a straight line, so we're going to have to count over and down. So we have to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have to count down 1, 2 spaces to end up on the origin right here. Now I want to count that same number in the opposite direction, so repeat that process again. We're going to go down 2, 1, 2, and we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we should end up right over here. So our original was at 5, 2. When it reflects through the origin here, it ends up at negative 5, negative 2. Example 2 is going to take point B, which is at negative 3, positive 2. So negative 3 on the x-axis, positive 2 on the y-axis should be right here. And it's going to reflect it through 0, 0. Now 0, 0 is just another name for, that's right, the origin. So we're going to reflect through here and end up somewhere down in this area. So we're going to count to that origin. We're going to count over 1, 2, 3 spaces. And we're going to count down 1, 2 spaces, and then repeat that process. Count down another 2, 1, 2, and count over 3, 1, 2, 3. And we end up right here. So the original was at negative 3, positive 2. Our image is at positive 3, negative 2. The third example is going to take the point C, negative 4, negative 6, and it's going to do this. Now, if you recall from the last couple of videos, this lowercase r means reflection, and then this is telling us what we're reflecting through. So we're reflecting through 0, 0, which is the origin. So we're going to start by graphing negative 4, negative 6. Put a point there. And I haven't been saying it, but make sure that you're labeling your A prime, B prime, C, and when we do it in just a second, C prime. So we want to count to that origin. So we're going to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and we're going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to repeat that process again to get all the way to our image. So we're going to go up another 6, and to the right another 4. So our image was at negative 4, negative 6. Sorry, our original was at negative 4, negative 6. Our image now is going to be at positive 4, positive 6, right up here, and we label it C prime. I'll give you some time to go ahead and copy that down. Okay, so you should have that down. We're going to go ahead and move on. Now we want to take and reflect a figure just like we have in all the other ones. We start with points and work our way up to triangles and eventually quadrilaterals. So to reflect a figure, just as always, perform the same reflection to all of the points in that figure. So we're going to take triangle XYZ here. We're going to use the same triangle we've used the last couple of times, which is x at positive 2, negative 2. So positive 2, negative 2. X should be right here. We're going to take y, which is at positive 6, negative 6, which would be right down here. And we're going to take z, which is positive 6, -2, so right here. I'm going to go ahead and connect those. And we're going to reflect this through the origin and write the new coordinates. So through the origin, we're going to flip right through this origin, and you need to write down the new coordinates. I'll give you some time to do that on your own right now. All right, so x prime, we're going to figure that out first. So we're going to take x here, we're going to count to that origin. So we're going to go to the left 2 spaces and up 2 spaces. And then we're going to repeat that by going up another 2 and left another 2 in the opposite direction from the origin. So x will go straight through the origin and end up right over here. Y, which is way down here, we're going to have to count all the way over and all the way up. So if you're good with your coordinates, you'll know that we're going to count over 6 and up 6. So we're going to do the same thing, count up another 6 and over another 6 to end up way over here. So it's going to come flying straight through the origin and end up way up here. Point Z is going to do the same thing. We have to count over 6 spaces and up 2 spaces, and then we're going to count up 2 spaces and over another 6. So we should end up right over here. We can go ahead and connect those. Now, I didn't go through the coordinates as we were doing this, and that was for a reason. You'll notice that I labeled x, x prime, y, y prime, and z prime. And you'll notice that the orientation of this triangle is facing a little bit of a different direction. So if you look, the original x was at 2, -2, and x prime is at -2, +2. The original y was at 6, -6, and the image of y is at -6, +6. So you should be able to see some kind of a change going on here from the original to the image. Z went from +6, -2 to -6, +2. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens here. We're going to talk about it a little bit in class tomorrow, but any ideas you have, you should definitely write down so that you can offer them up tomorrow and we can see who exactly can figure out this little trick. Because there is a simpler way than doing all this counting. There is an easier way that we'll talk about tomorrow in class. So I will see you tomorrow.